welcome to The Crossroads. I'm your host, Angela Rajniganda. And so today's episode is a very special episode. This is my 40th episode of my podcast, and it's my 40th birthday. How perfect is that? So to celebrate, let's talk about birthdays and aging. The spiritual and astrological side of birthdays, power of aging, and birthday rituals, and how I personally like to celebrate. Your birthday is called your solar return in astrology. And this is when the sun returns to the exact place it was on the day of your birth. And that makes it a very natural energetic reset. This solar return marks the beginning of a new personal cycle. It sets the tone for the next year of your life, similar to how New Year's sets a collective tone, but this one is specific for you. It reflects your vitality, your direction, your identity, and where your energy naturally wants to go. And the theme that shows up around your birthday is not random. It is often a preview of what the next year will ask of you, or will grow within you, or move you toward. This is a point when your life recalibrates. Old patterns can feel a lot more obvious, and new desires become clearer. And there's often the sense of just being pulled forward or starting a new chapter that maybe you can't fully explain exactly where it's going yet. This threshold is a crossing point, and the space where you no longer fully fit with your old cycle, and it's a space where you're not fully settled into your new life yet. It's a little bit of that in-between, and birthdays carry just that in-between energy. In the weeks leading up to your birthday, you may feel very quiet and reflective and emotional, tired even, or unsettled. And this is a natural closing process. Your system is processing the year that you are now completing and kind of preparing for the year to come. Right after your birthday, there's often a shift. Energy begins to move again and clarity starts to return, and you may feel more motivated or more focused or more open to change. And this is why birthdays matter energetically, is that you're not just getting older, you're not just aging, you're crossing into a new version of you, a new version of your life cycle, and there may be a different focus or different lessons and different opportunities available to you. Now, let's talk about aging. Aging should be seen as an initiation. Every year is not just time passing, it's a process that is changing you, it's reshaping you and refining you, and every year that passes is growth. Every decade of your life carries a different kind of energy, and in your earlier years there's often more focus on exploration and approval and figuring out who you are in relation to others. But as you get older, that begins to shift, and you begin to trust your own perception more. You rely less on external validation, and your decisions start to come from a much deeper place, not just reaction or the expectations of others. Your power becomes quieter, but a lot more solid. It is less about proving yourself and more about knowing and trusting in yourself and having just less concern about the opinions of others. And there's a strong cultural pressure to stay young, to stay desirable, to stay fun, and that pressure can really disconnect you from the natural process that you are in. Trying too hard to hold on to youth often comes at the cost of depth. It keeps you focused on appearance instead of substance, and approval instead of truth. Embracing growing older is a different kind of power, and it gives you pattern recognition, and it gives you discernment and trust in yourself and a higher awareness, and this is a clarity that can only come from age. Spiritual practice also changes as you live more life. In the beginning, it could be about seeking and learning and trying to understand, but over time, it becomes more embodied, and you're not just learning concepts anymore, you're living them and you're implementing them, and you've been tested in real life, and you've learned lessons in real life, and your practice becomes so much less about what you do and what that looks like, and so much more about how it is that you move through this world, and it becomes integrated into your decisions and your boundaries and your sense of self. And now, specifically as a woman, Aging holds an immense amount of power. We have been taught that aging weakens us, that it makes us less desirable, even useless after our childbearing years, and that just couldn't be further from the truth. As a woman, aging strengthens us. Our intuition gets stronger, our connection to nature and the natural cycles of the world deepens, and as we age, we go through each archetypal shift: the maiden, the mother, and the crone. The maiden is a phase of becoming. This is roughly from the time of puberty through your 20s. This is where you are discovering who you are through experiences, and there's an openness and a curiosity and a desire and movement. You are learning through relationships and through taking risks and through just trying things on. And this can also be a focus on being chosen or being accepted and kind of finding your place in the world. Spiritually, this is a phase of awakening. Your intuition is just beginning to speak, and even if you don't fully trust it yet, you're drawn to what feels alive and what feels meaningful and what feels charged. This is a sense of following energy without really understanding it, and this is where your connection to desire and instinct and possibility just all begins. And then we have the mother phase, and this is a phase of creation and responsibility. This is roughly through your 30s and your 40s, and this is not limited to actually bearing children. It's just about what you build and what you sustain and what you are devoted to. You begin to hold more, and your choices carry a lot more weight. You are no longer just exploring, you're beginning to direct energy. And there's a deeper connection here to your power, but also a deeper awareness of your limits as well. Spiritually, this is the phase of embodiment. You're no longer just sensing or seeking, you are working with energy in a very grounded way. You are understanding cycles and timing and impact, and your intuition becomes something that you consciously apply, and this is where your boundaries will strengthen, and this is where your power becomes something that you are responsible for as well. Now the crone. The crone is the phase of wisdom and discernment. This is roughly through your 50s and beyond. This is where illusion falls away. You see clearly, you trust what you see. This is when you are less available for what just doesn't align, and you're more rooted in what is true for you. This is less a need for approval and more certainty about your own authority. Spiritually, this is the phase of mastery. Your intuition is no longer something that you question. It is something that you trust and you rely on. You know your perception is true. And there's a great directness about how you perceive people and patterns and energy. And you are less influenced by distraction and noise, and you're more anchored in truth. This is where your presence itself carries weight because it's backed by lived experience and seeing very, very clearly. Now, these archetypal phases don't perfectly align with these ages and these decades of your life. Your own life pattern does influence this. The age you go through puberty, the age you have children, or if you have children at all, or the age that you start menopause, and just really any major life events or experiences can influence this. And each phase builds upon the one before. What you learn as the maiden becomes wisdom as the crone. What you build in the mother becomes stability and truth that you later stand on and supports you. Age for women is not a decline. It is a deepening into yourself, and it is coming fully into your power, which I think is why aging as women has been so distorted by modern society. I don't think they want us knowing just how powerful we are as women. They fear the crone. They don't want the world's crones knowing the power they hold. They would be unstoppable. They would be uncontrollable. They want us to think that we are weak and unwanted and useless. But that is just the furthest from the truth. Now, as I approach my 40th birthday here, I'm remembering how growing up, 40 was always seen as that crossing point. It was over the hill, they used to say. That's when you were no longer young and everyone is just headed downhill from there. But I'm not feeling that way at all. I feel like I'm just getting going and life is really just now starting to get good, and I feel stronger than ever and more powerful than ever and more beautiful than ever and far more sure of myself than ever before. I'm thrilled for this phase of my life and I can't wait to see where it's going to take me. So at 40, I'm about halfway through my mother phase. And looking back on my time as the maiden, the majority of those years were spent me just trying to navigate abuse, to be honest, and just fighting to get by. And it wasn't until I had my daughter and began moving into my 30s, my mother phase, that I really started to discover just who I was and discover my power and really begin to heal. So much of the first half of my mother phase has been healing from my past and rediscovering who I am. The person that I am now, as I stand halfway through my mother phase, is an entirely different person than I was in those maiden years. I'm completely unrecognizable and it's truly unbelievable. Where I stand now, I feel so strong and so powerful. And to think that I'm only halfway through my mother phase, I can't even imagine who I'm going to be as I reach my crone years. And to me, that's so exciting to think about. And that's exactly how we should be thinking about aging, with this excitement and with wonder and in absolute awe of the person we are becoming. And if that's not how you feel, if you do not feel like your life is getting better and better with every passing year, then it may be time that you re-examine the way that you're living. And I know that's easier said than done. Life brings challenges. We all go through hard years where we just want to go back to the way things were before. But try to look at the big picture and imagine who you want to be coming out of these hard years. Don't let the hard years last forever. Always be focused on your own personal growth and who you want to become. And now, with all that in mind, let's talk about how we can celebrate and honor our birthdays. Your birthday is not just a date, it is that threshold. It's a reset for your energy and your intentions, and even simple little rituals can make it feel a lot more sacred as it is. The night before your birthday, you can take a cleansing bath, use herbs and salts and oils, whatever feels right for you at that time, and let it wash away all that you no longer need, all that you want to leave behind, and prepare you for, the year ahead with this clean slate. Or you can take some time to write down your intentions for the next year. What do you want to grow? What do you want to release? What do you want to invite into your life? And maybe burn the paper. Let that act send your intentions out into the world, out into the universe, to mark that shift into your new cycle. You may light candles and make a wish on your birthday, and you could do this with your birthday cake or without, doing it separately in your own little ritual. But you can focus your energy on what you want to bring into this year, or even if it's just a single little candle, a single little wish, a single little thought, that holds power. Another thing you could do is make offerings of gratitude for your guides and your ancestors that brought you here today. And this doesn't have to be a big, elaborate ritual. You could just light some incense or, collect small tokens that belong to your ancestors or whatever you want to do, or just, say some words. But just acknowledging the support from your unseen guides and from these ancestors that came before you, all the people that took part in your creation. It's a pretty profound thought, really. But just taking time out to acknowledge that can be really powerful. Another thing you do is just pull some tarot cards, pull some oracle cards, ask for insight into the energies and the lessons and the opportunities that you might encounter in this new year of your life. Or you can ask what needs to be left behind, things like that, and let the cards guide you and give you some insight into this next year of your life. And if you're into astrology, you can take a look at your natal chart and the planetary themes for your solar return this year. And this may give you a sense of where your energy is focused for this new year, what you're moving out of, what areas of your life will naturally amplify or come into play. And finally, journaling. Journaling's always great. Reflect very honestly on this past year of your life, what grew, what ended, what did you learn, and then set your intentions for the new year, this next cycle. And if this is particularly a big birthday for you, or maybe you're moving into a new female archetypal phase, This could be puberty or having a child or beginning menopause or around those times. Maybe take some time to really feel into that. Celebrate that and think about what this shift really, really means for you and where you want it to take you. This year for my 40th birthday, I'm just feeling really quiet and reflective. I'm feeling really, really good though, but just very quiet and reflective. I feel some big changes coming for me in this next year. So right now, I can feel myself just sitting in that threshold and just very excited for what is to come. I'm not sure quite how I'll celebrate, but I do know I want to do a ritual bath the night before, really clear my energy and move into the new year fresh. I definitely want to spend some time outside, just connect with nature and probably do some meditation, just kind of tap in and connect with my guides and really ask, what do you want to tell me at this time and what's coming in for me, that kind of thing. But yeah, I feel like honoring it very quietly this year and just going within and feeling all that is shifting for me right now. And it feels so good though. It feels so good. And I'm open to ideas though. So if you have powerful ways that you like to honor birthdays, or specifically your 40th, which is kind of a big one, put it in the comments because I want to know. And with that, thank you so much for joining me. And as always, if you'd like to book an appointment with me for a reading or a healing session, you can do that on my website, angelarajniganda.com. And for deeper ongoing work, for exclusive episodes that I don't release anywhere else, please consider joining the Shadow Light Tribe over on Patreon. Until next time, I'll meet you at the crossroads. Bye. Thank you for joining me at the crossroads. Visit me at arcanapothecary.com and connect on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Pinterest. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and please join my Patreon for more exclusive content that I don't share anywhere else. Please note that this podcast is for entertainment and informational purposes only and is not professional advice. Remember, there is a time for love and light, and there is a time for raising hell. Until next time, I'll meet you at the crossroads.